Happy Thursday. It's Thriving Thursday. And I have a question for you. Do you have excuses? Do you have excuses that stop you from achieving your goals? Do you have excuses that hold you back from achieving your dreams? If that's you, you're not alone. And I'm excited to be with you tonight and this evening, wherever you're tuning in on here from, and to share with you some ideas and tips on how you can get out of excuse and into production and into being productive and also creating results. Hi, Tony. Welcome. Great to see you. So, it's Thriving Thursday, by the way. So it's February 2nd, Groundhog Day. So Groundhog Day in the U.S., it's in the U.S. only. Hi, Ernesto. Hi, guys. I've seen many of you hopping on. Hey, Annie. Welcome, Annie. I'm just saying hello, waving to people as people are coming on, all right? So as you're coming on here live, speaking of, please give yourself some hearts. Let me know you're here. Say hello so I can acknowledge you and see you, because sometimes in the live feed, I don't see everyone. And I just want to make sure I acknowledge you and I see you, all right? So, are you thriving? This is my first question to you. Are you thriving right now? And if you're not thriving, hi, investor. Hello. And if you're not thriving right now, there are a couple of things that are going on. Okay. So either you are making excuses about not thriving, or you have not made thriving a priority. I'm going to say that again. If you're not thriving right now, it's one of two things. You're either making up excuses. You're so enrolled in your excuses, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, you are enrolled in your excuses because you're not choosing to thrive. That's number one. Number two, it is probably you have not made it a priority, which means that you've made something else a priority. But why wouldn't you make you thriving a priority? Because it is important for you to thrive. Because if you're not thriving and you're surviving and you're struggling, other people around you will be surviving and struggling as well, and that would serve absolutely no one if everyone is surviving and struggling. If you agree with me on that, say 100%, because we all get to be thriving. You get to choose to thrive because that's your birthright, and you get to own it, you get to claim it, and you get to create it. So if you're with me, say 100%, because we get to create that as a collective. All right. So, I'm going to talk about excuses and how you can reframe your excuses, shift from excuses into productivity. Thank you, Annie. I'm glad you feel me, Annie. I love you, Annie. Way to crush it. I saw you crushed it last night. Great job, girl. Great job. Love the commitment. Love the focus. All right. So, there's a video of a gentleman. He's a comedian. He's Middle Eastern. I love him so much. His name is Nasser. I think he's Lebanese. I may be incorrect. But the reason I shared this with him, because he came up with a series of videos that are beyond hysterical. I share many of them on my IG stories, Instagram stories. And he has this theme that he says, something, any BS that's going on in 2023, which by the way, we are in 2023, anything that's going on that's BS, where do we send it? To the zibala. Now, zibala in Arabic means garbage. You put it in the trash, basically, right? So what I invite you to do is put all of your excuses in the trash. Put it in the trash. It does not belong here. It's BS. You know what I'm saying? So we get to throw it in the trash. And then the other thing he says that I really love is once you put the bullshit and the BS, the bullshit in the trash, you dance. All right? Do a dance party, right? Which I love that. Okay? So that's the theme for this year. I'm so enrolled in that because it's really on point. And if you're committed to creating results, you get to let go of your excuses. You get to release your excuses. Put it in the trash. Put it in the zibala, which is the Arabic term for that, and you dance it out, because you're going to crush it. You're going to create results. So if you're with me and you feel this with me, say I feel you, because I want to connect with you. All right. So I have a question for you. What are some excuses that you come up with that stop you from achieving some goals that you want? So I want to hear from you as you're tuning on here live. And by the way, when you catch the replay, make sure you comment with hashtag encore or hashtag replay, and let me know that you got on here. Yeah, Annie, I'm glad you love the trash and the dance part, right? So zibala and dance. Okay, so what are some things, what are some goals that you have, and what are some excuses that you find yourself? And when I say excuses, they're stories, right? They're narratives, they're blocks. They could be many things, right? So I'll give some examples. So maybe an example is I don't have time, or I don't have money, or I don't have friends, or I don't have connections. Like, it's a lot. It's going to have to do, in my experience, a lot of the excuses relate to lack, like you don't have it, right? And the challenge is that in order for you to create something to have, you can't lack to have. You get to be in abundance and create it, so you're in the have space, not in the lack space. People who Okay, great, brown-eyed girl. I see you. I'm not sure who you are. If you could tell me your name, that'd be great. And what kind of results you want to see fast. Let me support you, okay? What results you're not seeing, that's fast. And thank you for being honest, by the way. I love it when people are authentic and honest and they're sharing like really what's going on, right? And also, what is the excuse that is holding you back from achieving the fast results? That's something you get to connect with. Oh, hey Jen, hello. So share with us, like, what's the excuse? What's the story you tell yourself? What's the excuse that comes up for you? All right. So, hey, Outstanding Live, welcome. So going back, I was saying the lack, when you have lack, you can, like, if you say you can't, like, if you say you want to make more money and you're like, I don't have money, there's no way you're going to make more money. If you want to say, and I'm being really honest, but I'm being really direct. If you want to say, I want to have more time, but you don't have time to build something that will create more time, you ain't going to have more time. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. So you get to connect with what is it that you say to yourself, like, what's the excuse, right? Like, what is the excuse? What is the story? What is the reason? It's reasonable. Excuses are rationalization. It's one of my mentors said this a long time ago. He said, when you have excuses, you rationalize, and he broke it down. Rationalize equals rational lies. I'm going to say that again. When you rationalize, means you're like processing, you're making it logical. Rationalize equals rational lies. Like, you're lying to yourself. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to spell it out for you guys, because I want to support you. That's my commitment. I want to support you. Hi, Chrissy, or Chris. I see you. You're on here. So here's the thing. Going back, I want to give you some ideas, or an idea that will really, really transform how you let go of excuses and move into action. If you're excited, say, I'm committed to action. Here's what I want to say. If you're done with your excuses, I want you to claim it and say, I'm divorcing my excuses, because you get to divorce your excuses, let it go, release it, put it in the trash, in the Zabala, right? And then make some stuff happen, right? So if you're with me, say, I am divorcing my excuses. Claim it, say it. I am divorcing my excuses. Because if you're not creating results right now, you're married to your excuses. I hate to say it. You're married to it. You're attached to it, right? And I say this with love. I don't mean to, like, obviously my intention is not to offend anyone. But if you're offended, you know what? It is what it is, right? My intention is to serve and support you, okay? So, with that being said, so what is it? So tell us, right? I want you to claim it. I am done. You are divorcing your excuses. I am divorcing my excuses, because we're going to go into how you can let go of that. So, whatever excuse you come up with, okay, yeah, don't let your friends, I love that, Outstanding Life. Don't let your friends come up with rational lies. That's exactly right. You got it. On point, man. On point. Love it. So here's a tip for you that'll really, really support you, okay? So instead of being like, I don't have time, these are common resistance, fears, objections, excuses. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have friends. I don't have resources, blah, blah, blah. I want you to ask yourself, anytime you come up with an excuse, here's the tip, okay? Anytime you come up with the excuse, instead of saying, I don't, X, because that's lack, pause, interrupt yourself, and ask yourself, how can I? Right? So, for example, if you don't have time, I want you to ask yourself, how can I find more time? How can I create time? If you don't have money, I want you to ask yourself, how can I find more money? How can I create money? Who do I connect with? How can I be resourceful, right? If you don't have connections, how can I build connections? How can I build relationships? Everything in life is a relationship, by the way. So it's your relationship to yourself, your relationship to your excuses. It's a relationship, right? Love, hate, healthy, unhealthy. It's a relationship. You get to choose, right? My vision for you is it gets to be a healthy relationship, of course, and it gets to be a relationship that works for you versus not work for you. You know what I mean? So ask yourself, that's the tip. Instead of the excuse, and I want you to share what that excuse is. So Jen, if you don't mind sharing what that excuse is, when you reframe it, ask yourself, how can I? How can you? How can you, right? How can I? Own it, claim it, find a way. Now, if you're not sure, another tip for you is find a friend who's crushing it in that area and ask them how they're doing it. And ask them if they would be willing to share their process with you so that you can learn from them and adopt it, model it, and run with it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to figure stuff out on your own. However, you get to be responsible for finding people who are crushing it in the areas that you want to crush it in, and you reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm seeing that you're crushing it in X. Can you share with me, what are you doing? I would love to learn what you're doing that maybe I may not be doing effectively, so that I can close the gap and be effective in this, right? And not come up with excuses, right? So, all right, Jen, I'm looking at your comments. You get excited and try something new. Hard to keep yourself motivated. I hear you. It's life, right? So is there a specific goal that you're targeting because I'm not clear. Is there a specific goal you're targeting that you feel like you're not getting the fast result in? Is it health related? Is it career related? Is it business related? Share with us, because I can't help you. I can't support you if it's vague. I can really support you when it's direct and clear, okay? And I hear you, by the way. Who can relate to Jen? And Jen is not alone. Like, life happens, work stuff happens, family stuff happens. Who else has been there? We all have, right? So that's the reality. But the opportunity for you, Jen, and for everyone else who's tuning on here is, how can you navigate situations like that so that you still create the results you want to create? You let go of the excuses. You don't let other people's excuses become your excuses, because now you're adopting their excuse. Why? Don't do that, right? You're in charge. No one like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get to create boundaries for yourself, right? I don't know where you're at in terms of that, but you're in ownership, right? So you get to create the boundaries. All right. So those are your 2 tips. And then I'm going to wrap this up. Okay. So number 1, whatever excuse that is, ask yourself, how can I? How can you? Okay. Number 2, not sure, ask a friend who's crushing it and let them walk you through their process. Okay. And learn from their process and apply their process and see how it goes. Okay. Finally, I want to say this. For every excuse, I had an excuse today. So I posted earlier, and this is not about what I want to share, but there's a point of me wanting to share this. So earlier today, I did 223 burpees. Annie, you know this because you saw it, right? So why am I sharing this? Did I want to do the 223? Hell no, I did not. That was my 3rd workout, by the way, because I already completed my workout. But why did I do it? Because first and foremost, I wanted to stretch myself and get outside of my comfort zone, right? Because like, you can be in a rhythm, right? It's like we all find a flow. You can be in a rhythm, but in order to create different results, we get to tweak and do things differently, right? And sometimes it may look like doing something that's extreme, and I'm okay with that, right? But in order to create extreme results, you get to take extreme actions. That's life, right? Energy in, energy out. That's the flow, right? So did I want to do it? No. Did I feel like doing it? No. Was it a stretch? Absolutely, right? But I share this with you, of course, with the intention of inspiring you on an example, right? That's one example, right? But the reason I'm sharing this with you more specifically is that I invite you, as you're building your muscle of releasing your excuses, putting the excuses in the trash, is to stretch yourself. Get outside of your comfort zone. Do at least one thing a day. At least one thing a day that stretches you, gets you outside of your comfort zone, your routine, whatever you're doing, so that you shake things up and you do something different, right? I'm sharing with you one example. I'll share with you more examples, by the way, but I just wanted to share with you a sense, right, of what we're building. What I share with you here, by the way, I practice what I preach. I never tell my clients or the people I'm tuning, like as you guys are tuning on here, like Annie and all of you, I never tell things or share things that I don't implement. You know what I'm saying? I walk the talk. I will do what I say, okay? So, going back, stretch yourself, get outside of your comfort zone mentally, physically, spiritually, intellectually. You get to do that every single day. Commit to doing that every single day, right? So I'm going to share one last thing and I'm going to wrap it up. I know I went a little over, but I'm excited and I'm passionate, as you can see, right? So I was coaching a group earlier today and there were 3 themes that I saw in this group, right? One was, we talked about the stretching part, right? Stretching outside of your comfort zone. So, one client was like, she made a list of her chicken list, like she's building a business, right? So she made a list of people that she's scared to connect with, right? Because whatever, she has a story, she has excuses, right? On why she shouldn't connect with them, because maybe they're better than her, maybe they're more influential, whatever that is. So she made that list, and I said to her, you get to connect with these people like ASAP, like don't wait, connect with them, right? So that's number one. That's an example of you getting outside of your comfort zone. I'm sharing an example, right? Another thing is out of sight, out of mind. If you don't have your goals in front of you and you're not connected to your goals, for me personally, right? If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. It's so easy to forget what we were focused on. There's so many distractions, y'all. I don't know. I'm sure you feel me. There's so many distractions. So you get to be connected. And this is something I coach one of my clients on, and I want to serve and support all of you with that tip as well, is that you want to have a routine, like a morning ritual and an evening ritual, right? I'm sure most of you do, right? But if you do have a morning ritual and an evening ritual, make it a commitment to connect with your goals. Make it a commitment to connect with your vision, connect with your why, connect with what you're building, because like I said, out of sight, out of mind. So you get to be connected to that, right? Get to be connected to that. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and then we'll wrap this up, is you want to ask yourself, what moves the needle forward? What moves the dial forward towards your goals, towards your business, towards your health, towards your results? Like, you get to be connected to that and connect with the actions that are necessary to build and move the dial forward. So even if you move the dial forward one step at a time, by the end of the week, by the end of the month, you would have made significant strides because you were in action, right? But if you don't take action, ain't nothing happening without taking action. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So excuses again. I'm going to wrap up. Excuses are BS. So do not be enrolled in your excuses. All right. Put them where they belong, which is the trash, Zabella, right? And dance party, dance it out, right? Because now we put it in the trash and we're focused, right? We're focused now on what we're committed to, right? And I want you to be in the habit of committing to at least one thing. This is your stretch. This is your opportunity. Commit to at least one thing that gets you outside of your comfort zone. I invite you to share below what that is, so I can hold you accountable. I can support you. You can check in and be like, oh, I said I'm going to do this and I did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, take yourself outside of your comfort zone. If maybe one of your stretches is to comment, because if you're shy about commenting, then comment. That's your stretch. That's your opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So share below, whether you're either on here live or when you catch the replay. And I'll share with you, like today, like a few things I did that were outside of my comfort zone. Like I said in the beginning, the 223 burpees. Yes. I reached out to a few people that were on my scared list. I do have a scared list too. I promise you. We all have different levels, right? So I'm being honest, right? I also closed the loop on a few things that were left open, and I'm very, very committed to closing loops quicker, sooner than later. And that's like a work in progress for me personally, because I'm always committed to delivering quickly, especially like clients for sure. I do that for clients, but when it's non-client related, it's an opportunity for me to close the loop quicker, right? So that's an area that I'm building my muscle in, and I'm being really transparent and honest. Okay. So those are some examples, right, to share with you, what that would look like. So I want you to share with me what your stuff is. Okay. So if you could share what you're committed to, how you're stretching yourself, that would be magnificent. And Annie, I'm just going to read your comment here, real quick. We're also lucky to have you, Annie, so much. You're amazing. You're surrounded by amazing people. You're amazing as well. We love your energy and we love you. And I'm so inspired by you, Annie, for being on point, showing up, committed. You do the work. It's so beautiful, right? So that's awesome. Okay, Jen, you want to stick with kickboxing? Okay, great. Just stick with kickboxing, Jen. Let us know how we can support you. We got you, girl. Let us know how we can help you. I got you. Annie got you. We all got you. Just let us know how we can support you. We can hold your hand and support you. Show up. 80% of success is showing up. That's it. Commit to showing up. Here's what I will say to you, Jen, and this is for anyone who struggles. Be consistent. Consistency is the key to success. So even if you show up, Jen, twice a week, and you show up consistently twice a week, 3 times a week, and you show up consistently, you're winning. Because over the course of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you'll see results. But if a week goes by and you didn't do anything, then that's problematic. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's once a week that you can commit to for now and build, right? Everything is a build. So start with one. I don't know where you're at right now. If you don't mind sharing, I'm happy to support you. So if you're at 1 right now, stick with 1. go to 2. If you're at 2, stick with 2, go to 3, right? So just be consistent. Set it up on a calendar and be consistent. I'm very rigorous when it comes to working out. I have it on my calendar. I don't BS. I train 6 days a week. That's right. I train 6 days a week. Fridays are my recovery days, so I do not train on Fridays except for if I did the challenge or whatever to support you guys, but I don't train on Fridays. Or I sometimes will come in and cover for another trainer, but I don't train on Fridays typically. So that's why I went crazy today with burpees because I'm not doing that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So be consistent, Jen. That's really what I want to say to you, right? So whether it's 1 day a week, 3 days a week, just pick the days, commit to it, show up consistently. When it's consistent and you have a cadence, it'll flow. It'll come together, all right? And yes, Annie says she doubles up sometimes, which is true, and she pushes herself to take classes. And the other thing, Jen, that may inspire you, thank you, Annie, you're crushing. Annie's over 100 classes right now. So Jen, for you, to support you, maybe something you could do is track milestones, right? So see how many classes you've taken so far and ask yourself, how quickly can you reach the next milestone, right? So if you're at 10 classes, I don't know where you're at, but if you're at 10 classes, ask yourself, how quickly can you get to 10? How quickly can you get to 20? How quickly can you get to 30? How quickly can you get to 40, right? So set little benchmarks and milestones for yourself so you're motivating yourself. You're playing a contest with yourself. Everything we do, by the way, is a mental game, right? That's where the excuses come in, right? So that's where you get to ask yourself, if you're not showing up for you, ask yourself, how can I show up for me? How can I be consistent? Like, that is your opportunity right there. And by the way, Jen, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. I'm here for you. We're here for you. Let us know how we can support. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Thriving Thursday. I know many of you are still on here because you are committed to thriving, and I acknowledge you for that, and I celebrate you for that. So thank you for being those amazing leaders, beautiful souls that are committed to thriving. Share what was your biggest takeaway from this session. Share what is the thing that you're going to be stretching yourself in and how I can support you specifically. And we got you. We got your back. I got your back. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Oh, yeah, and before we leave, Annie says, Jen, you can do it. Show up, make a calendar for yourself, not on the phone. Use a paper and marker and write it down in the dates. That's correct. So, Jen, I use both. Like, I put my appointments on a Google Calendar that's synced to my phone, and I also map it out on a Passion Planner, because I do use a Passion Planner to plan, right? And I love Annie's tip here. She says, stick it on a fridge, cross out the days you worked out. That's beautiful, Annie. Thank you for sharing that tip. It's so good. So good. So, Jen, make sure you connect with Annie when you're at the club, and if I see you both, I will be sure to connect you. We connect you both together. All right, loves, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all of you. Thank you, Annie, for sharing and contributing. You're amazing, Annie. Mwah. Lots of love, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for Friday. I may be doing something funny for tomorrow. We shall see. You shall see. We will uncover that when we get to tomorrow. All right, guys, have an awesome rest of your night. Thank you for being with me. Mwah. Lots of love. Cheers. Bye for now.